I wager a dinner I can read your thoughts. You still believe it's Uncle Tim."
"Mr. Finsbury," said the drawing master, colouring, "you are not a man in narrow circumstances, and you have no family. Gwendolen is growing up a very promising girl. She was confirmed this year. And I think you will be able to enter into my feelings as a parent when I tell you she is quite ignorant of dancing. The boys are at the board school, which is all very well in its way. At least, I am the last man in the world to criticise the institutions of my native land. But I had fondly hoped that Harold might become a professional musician, and little Otto shows a quite remarkable vocation for the church. I am not exactly an ambitious man."
"Well, well," interrupted Michael, "be explicit. You think it's Uncle Tim?"
"It might be Uncle Tim," insisted Pitman; "and if it were, and I neglected the occasion, how could I ever look my children in the face? I do not refer to Mrs. Pitman."
"No, you never do," said Michael.
"But in the case of her own brother returning from Ballarat," continued Pitman.
"With his mind unhinged?" put in the lawyer.
"Returning from Ballarat with a large fortune, her impatience may be more easily imagined than described,"
concluded Pitman. "All right," said Michael, "be it so. And what do you propose to do?"
"I am going to Waterloo," said Pitman, "in disguise."
"All by your little self?" inquired the lawyer. "Well, I hope you think it safe. Mind and send me word from the police cells."
"Oh, Mr. Finsbury, I had ventured to hope perhaps you might be induced to make one of us," faltered Pitman.
"Disguise myself on Sunday!" cried Michael. "How little you understand my principles!"
"Mr. Finsbury, I have no means of showing you my gratitude, but let me ask you one question," said Pitman. "If I were a very rich client, would you not take the risk?"
"Diamond, Diamond, you know not what you do," cried Michael. "Why, man, do you suppose I make a practice of cutting about London with my clients in disguise? Do you suppose money would induce me to touch this business with a stick? I give you my word of honour it would not. But I own I have a real curiosity to see how you conduct this interview. That tempts me. It tempts me, Pitman, more than gold. It should be exquisitely rich." And suddenly Michael laughed. "Well, Pitman," said he, "have all the truck ready in the studio. I'll go." About 20 minutes after 2 on this eventful day, the vast and gloomy shed of Waterloo lay, like the temple of a dead religion, silent and deserted. Here and there at one of the platforms a train lay becalmed. Here and there a wandering footfall echoed. The cab horses outside stamped with startling reverberations on the stones, or from the neighbouring wilderness of railway an engine snorted forth a whistle. The main line departure platform slumbered like the rest. The booking hutches closed. The backs of Mr. Haggard's novels, with which upon a weekday the bookstall shines emblazoned, discreetly hidden behind dingy shutters. The rare officials, undisguisedly somnambulant, and the customary loiterers, even to the middle-aged woman with the ulster and the handbag, fled to more congenial scenes. As in the inmost dells of some small tropic island the throbbing of the ocean lingers, so here a faint pervading hum and trepidation told in every corner of surrounding London. At the hour already named, persons acquainted with John Dickson of Ballarat and Ezra Thomas of the United States of America would have been cheered to behold them enter through the booking office.
"What names are we to take?"
inquired the latter, anxiously adjusting the window glass spectacles which he had been suffered on this occasion to assume. "There's no choice for you, my boy," returned Michael. "Bent Pitman or nothing. As for me, I think I look as if I might be called Appleby. Something agreeably old world about Appleby. Breathes of Devonshire cider. Talking of which, suppose you wet your whistle. The interview is likely to be trying."
"I think I'll wait till afterwards," returned Pitman. "On the whole, I think I'll wait till the thing's over. I don't know if it strikes you as it does me, but the place seems deserted and silent, Mr. Finsbury, and filled with very singular echoes."
"Kind of Jack in the box feeling?" inquired Michael. as if all these empty trains might be filled with policemen waiting for a signal, and Sir Charles Warren perched among the girders with a silver whistle to his lips. It's guilt, Pitman." In this uneasy frame of mind they walked nearly the whole length of the departure platform, and at the western extremity became aware of a slender figure standing back against a pillar. The figure was plainly sunk in a deep abstraction. He was not aware of their approach, but gazed far abroad over the sunlit station. Michael stopped. "Hullo," said he, "can that be your advertiser? If so, I'm done with it." And then, on second thoughts, "Not so either," he resumed more cheerfully. "Here, turn your back a moment. So, give me the specs." "But you agreed I was to have them," protested Pitman. "Ah, but that man knows me," said Michael. "Does he? What's his name?" cried Pitman. "Oh, he took me into his confidence," returned the lawyer. "But I may say one thing. If he's your advertiser, and he may be, for he seems to have been seized with criminal lunacy, you can go ahead with a clear conscience, for I hold him in the hollow of my hand." The change effected, and Pitman comforted with this good news, the pair drew near to Morris. "Are you looking for Mr. William Bent Pitman?" inquired the drawing master. "I am he." Morris raised his head. He saw before him, in the speaker, a person of almost indescribable insignificance, in white spats and a shirt cut indecently low. A little behind, a second and more burly figure offered little to criticism, except ulster, whiskers, spectacles, and a deerstalker hat. Since he had decided to call up devils from the underworld of London, Morris had pondered deeply on the probabilities of their appearance. His first emotion, like that of Caroba when she beheld the sea, was one of disappointment. His second did more justice to the case. Never before had he seen a couple dressed like these. He had struck a new stratum. "I must speak with you alone," said he. "You needn't mind Mr. Appleby," returned Pitman. He knows all." "All? Do you know what I am here to speak of?" inquired Morris. "The barrel." Pitman turned pale, but it was with manly indignation. "You are the man?" he cried. "You very wicked person!" "Am I to speak before him?" asked Morris, disregarding these severe expressions. "He has been present throughout," said Pitman. "He opened the barrel. Your guilty secret is already known to him as well as to your maker and myself." "Well, then," said Morris, "what have you done with the money?" "I know nothing about any money," said Pitman. "You needn't try that on," said Morris. "I have tracked you down. You came to the station sacrilegiously disguised as a clergyman, procured my barrel, opened it, rifled the body, and cashed the bill. I have been to the bank, I tell you. I have followed you step by step, and your denials are childish and absurd." "Come, come, Morris, keep your temper," said Mr. Appleby. "Michael!" cried Morris. "Michael here too?" "Here too," echoed the lawyer. "Here and everywhere, my good fellow. Every step you take is counted. Trained detectives follow you like your shadow. They report to me every 3/4 of an hour. No expenses spared." Morris's face took on a hue of dirty grey. "Well, I don't care. I have the less reserve to keep," he cried. "That man cashed my bill. It's a theft, and I want the money back." "Do you think I would lie to you, Morris?" asked Michael. "I don't know," said his cousin. "I want my money." "It was I alone who touched the body," began Michael. "You, Michael?" cried Morris, starting back. "Then why haven't you declared the death?" "What the devil do you mean?" asked Michael. "Am I mad, or are you?" cried Morris. "I think it must be Pitman," said Michael. The three men stared at each other, wild eyed. "This is dreadful," said Morris. "I do not understand one word that is addressed to me." "I give you my word of honour, no more do I," said Michael. "In God's name, why whiskers?" cried Morris, pointing in a ghastly manner at his cousin. "Does my brain reel? How whiskers?" "Oh, that's a matter of detail," said Michael. There was another silence. during which Morris appeared to himself to be shot in a trapeze as high as